Welcome to Over the Falls podcast, episode number 40. This week, we sat down with BMO head honcho, Bryn Mac. We discussed football, coaching, music, DJing, diabetes, and of course, a few tangents along the way. This week's episode is brought to you by Kitchen Wide. Kitchens and joinery made by the trade, for the trade. Proudly supporting and listening to Over the Falls podcast. Visit them at www.kitchenwide.co.uk. We finally got you in here, Bryn.
Yeah.
You're a busy boy.
Cheers. Thank you, everyone. Yeah, sorry. I'm a busy man.
You are a busy
hard
man.
to pin down, but
Yeah.
we've done it though.
That is
It's
good.
hard to pin myself down, to be honest with you. Like, it's a miracle I'm here.
So what did you do today?
Was coaching this morning, and then was just doing a bit of admin this afternoon. But it's obviously summer holidays now, so
Yeah.
it's peak time for us. This is like for BMO Coaching, it's like busiest time of the year, really.
I bet.
And we try and obviously do as much as we can, you know, because you've got to make the most of it, really.
Yeah.
So it's like making the most of that time, because obviously you can have children from 9 till 3 or whatever, 9 till 5. So you've got to just make the most of that time, really. But yeah. So this morning I was coaching, a little bit of admin. I said I'm away on the weekend, so try to get life sorted as well. You know, the miracles, the balance of everything, isn't it? It's just mad.
Yeah.
But
No,
yeah.
it's not easy at times. Can we go back to the beginning? Originally from ABBA or not?
Not originally.
Okay.
I'm from Newcastle. Haven't got the accent anymore, obviously.
No.
But I moved to Llanidloes when I was like 5. So we're from Newcastle, and then moved to Aber when I was in year 6, so 10 or 11 I would have been.
Okay.
So
But
yeah,
that was quite a shock. Llanidloes
yeah,
from Newcastle.
yeah. So like my background is quite alternative. We've got like, you know, just kind of hippies basically. Like that's what the family's like. So getting out the big city to come to
the sticks.
Literally, like it was like a farm in the middle of nowhere, Trafeglois, if you know where that is.
I don't think I do know.
Exactly.
Is it not literally in nowhere?
No. So
You can see the stars.
yeah, it was stunning, like unbelievable. So yeah.
So how
Just
can the
run.
move then? What was the why was the move?
So my mum and dad at the time were together.
Okay.
So they split up when we moved to Llanidloes, but they're heavily involved with like festivals and stuff, and a lot of you might know there's like a big mid Wales music underground scene. So they just got like friendly with people, I think, from like the sort of party scene and stuff like that, and then we're just like, let's get out of Newcastle and then come to Llanidloes.
I bet that's a hell of a change for your parents.
Yeah, like,
Going from like a big city.
like obviously, you know, I was so young, so I didn't really know.
No, of
to
course
be
not.
honest. But yeah, for them, I think they've just always wanted it, to be honest. So
Cool.
yeah, that's why.
You got brothers and sisters, Bryn?
Amazing.
Yeah, I've got 2 half sisters and a full brother.
Cool.
Yeah, so
I love that. I love that description.
yeah, 2 sisters and
It's
a
like
brother.
full fat Coke, isn't
Yeah.
it? Nice.
So what school did you go to when you got here?
Commons
Court.
Commons Core.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, and just made the move to there now as well. Gone full circle, so back in Commons Court now.
Lovely.
Yeah.
Oh, that's where you're living.
Yeah, that's where I live now. Yeah,
Penglice.
Penglice. Yeah.
Enjoy school? Were you academic? Was that your thing or not?
Not academic. Loved school though.
Yeah.
Loved like just being around my pals.
That's why I liked it.
Yeah.
Didn't like the lessons and stuff. But
Yeah, like well,
love goofing around.
yeah. Basically, that was basically me, to be honest. Like I loved PE, obviously, like and just
Who taught you PE?
I had OJ and Mr. Phillips.
Mr.
Oh,
Phillips.
I remember Mr. Phillips.
What a legend.
Did you all you boys go?
Yeah.
Penglice?
All
Yeah.
Penglice.
We had Mr.
Yeah.
Phillips.
He's still
Mr.
there now, Mr.
Duggan.
Phillips. Mr. Duggan. You wouldn't remember Mr. Duggan.
No.
No.
And Mr. Harrison.
Harrison's there. Yeah. But
not-
Mr. Phillips is still there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
I've seen him not that long ago.
Jumping forward, sorry, but we're going. BMO Coaching is going to Penglice as of
Sick.
September.
Oh, nice.
Amazing.
That's quite a mad again, like
Congrats.
full
What, to teach
circle.
curriculum sort of thing?
Not curriculum. We're going to be working with the football squads. So it'll be extracurricular stuff. So like after school. So
Sick.
Yeah, I'm really buzzing about that because I've always like one of my goals. I remember OJ always talking about it. If he does watch this, he'll probably be loving it. Is that he always wanted like Penglice to have some sort of like football academy or work alongside like the football club or something like that, you know. So yeah, we just got asked to come in and work with the squads, you know, just to give them that bit of structure with it. And you know, schools have had cuts. It's hard for staff. You know, half of them probably don't want to do it, you know, whereas we love it. Like we'll do it for them. So
Passion.
So when did you start BMO?
2018, like end of 2018.
Okay.
2018.
So was that 2 years before COVID?
Well, I was going to say, Then, so what happened with COVID then? I mean, like, did it all stop? I take it, did it?
Yeah, all stopped. It was quite a mad time, to be honest with you. So it was like, just obviously got the business going. Just made, I think at the time we just made a sort of connection with the football club. So it was Gavin Allen that contacted me to like help just run stuff at the club. But just as that started to kick off, COVID hit, and I remember being like, well, there was like two things. Obviously, like I'm diabetic as well, type 1 diabetes. So I was like crapping myself about the whole COVID thing at the time because it was just a mad time, wasn't it? Really,
It was a new
we didn't know
thing,
what was
innit?
going on.
yeah,
did we?
nobody knew what was going on.
No.
So it was just like
They were describing it as like, you know, it could kill you really easy. And
it's mad when you look
takes away
back.
your
Isn't
breath.
it? It's absolutely mad when you look back.
With
at what we
hindsight,
went through.
it's quite crazy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Really crazy.
Scaremongering. It was terrifying.
It really was. Yeah.
Yeah, at times it was like, didn't know what was happening.
Good God, I was like cleaning my shopping as it was coming in and all sorts of like extreme levels, you know.
It's just crazy. It's crazy. Think about it.
I'd like now, you know, like recently been pretty ill.
Yeah.
Like, but like, yeah, it's just isn't it mad?
It is mad. I didn't quite hit the level of the washing the shopping bags on the line and stuff like that. I didn't quite hit that level, but I did see.
Honestly,
I
some
saw
of
people
it.
doing it. Doing it.
We went for like a good month. We were getting like food deliveries and like cleaning, like what, like all our shopping.
Get it in the bleach.
Put it in the washing machine. Do you know what I
It's
mean?
mad. I bet there's still people doing that now, you know. That's what's scary about it.
My grandmother lives alone. And she like sanitizes her like kitchen and her remote control. She's the only one that touches it. Like
Yeah.
and she's just anxious about
Yeah.
ever getting that.
Yeah.
She's never had it touch wood, I don't think.
I think that was the thing. It was more like just like the diabetes thing. 'Cause I literally remember at the start, they were like, if you've got type 1 diabetes, you are like high at risk if you get COVID. So I was just like, oh my God, like, you know, like I remember like even like the stage where, you know, you could start to like go outside and like, I remember like everyone like jumped on like the cycling and everything, which was great. And like, I was still like, I did that, but I was like, I never wanted to go with like my pals or anything. I was just like,
Just on your own.
just go do it on my own. Like, so that was quite a mad, mentally challenging time, do you know, alongside the business side of stuff. So like, so we just started, obviously, COVID hit, and then there was the whole like support packages for like, you know,
Eat out to help out.
all this stuff, you know, and like, I remember I was 3 months out. My business hadn't been going long enough to receive help from the government. 3 months I was out.
It shouldn't matter. It shouldn't matter, I don't think.
Because I was so essentially newly self-employed and the business wasn't established, I could only apply for like discretionary grants. So that was mad. So I was like trying to get grants through like Sport Wales and all sorts. To be fair, like the local council was actually good at the time. We got like quite a few ones from them, but everywhere else, government, nothing. Like the support that we had like over COVID was quite scary.
As in bad.
Yeah, like not good enough, you know, like not to support, you know, like at the time we were paying rent and stuff. Luckily it was from family, you know, so they were able to reduce the rent costs and stuff like that. But imagine if I was like, imagine if I was in the city or something with like double the rent.
Destroyed
pay
you.
or, Would have
Exactly.
been done.
Yeah.
Would have been done,
I heard loads of stories of like builders who's just getting money thrown at them.
Some
by the
I think
government.
two,
Making, like,
two
good
stories,
coin.
isn't it? Some people
Yeah.
got nothing, and other people like were making money. It seems.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Like more than what they'd earned before. Anyway, doesn't seem right.
Yeah.
What made you decide to start BMO then? What was like the point when you thought you wanted to go into something like that?
So me and my wife moved back to Aber. So I was actually in Shrewsbury, and we moved back. I think it was 2018 it was.
Okay.
Moved back that year, and we came back to help Amy with her family business, and like at the time I was just like, it just was so different. I'd gone from like professional coaching at Shrewsbury Town Football Club, coming back and then like working with like her family business, which was a massive change. It's like, it's like a cafe.
Oh, okay.
So completely different. Actually really, really enjoyed it. But then it was like, then I actually fell really, really ill. It was just stuff with my diabetes. I had good control on everything, but just like seemed to get like really, really ill. Like insulin wasn't affecting me. So I just went through this stage of like, just being ill basically. So then I was like not able to work a lot in the shop basically for Amy. And that was just like, that was so tough because I felt like I was like letting them down massively. And it's like, like your pride is being like hit big time because it's like you want to go and support like their family as well as your own family, and you just can't do it. So that was just like, that was just brutal. But then we went on, my brother got married in Canada. So we actually went out to Canada. We had this amazing trip. We were away for like a month. We just traveled like all around Canada, had an amazing time. Like whilst I was there, I was just like, I need to do what I'm like good at, but what I love as well. So that was like the pivotal moment where I was like, this is where I think I'm going to do it. Do you know what I mean? So got back and then was like, so that was like September-ish time. And then was just like, I'm going to go for it. Like just take the plunge, see what happens. And there was like a bit of a gap in the market at the time, like locally, because I've always felt like, I mean, we never have opportunity here, whether it's from the outside in terms of like higher up in terms of government or like national governing bodies. We just never get the support here. So like, I was like, look, there's a gap in the market. Nothing is really happening like how BMO is now.
Yeah.
So that was it. I was just thought, just got to go for it, And obviously, starting a business, it's going to be like a slow start, but things just sort of spiraled then. But it was more the thing of being like I know I'm good at what I do, and like I always wanted to provide like the opportunity for the area. And I remember in sixth form, they ask you to write like a covering letter to the uni that you like want to go to. And I remember saying like, eventually my goal would be to come back to Aber and set something up for the community. And it's just, I find it hilarious as well. Like it was like a dream really of what I wanted to do. Just from being a kid and a teenager here, like there's nothing. There's absolutely not, in terms of football at the time or all the sports that I liked, like mountain biking, tennis, nothing. So that was like the big sort of, it's just hilarious. Like looking back at like, that's what I thought eventually I'd like to do. And then now this is where I am. Do you know what I mean?
Visualised it, haven't you?
Yeah.
Probably visualised it. That's cool, that is. Yeah.
It's mental. Like,
talk about like opportunity around here, because it's very hard to become something from a small town, especially like football, because we just seem to be miles away from everywhere, aren't we?
Yeah.
But you all have to remember the Ian Rush tournament.
Yeah.
Like that was incredible.
Loved it.
It was incredible.
Absolutely loved it.
Honestly,
we used to play against like Liverpool, Tranmere, Motherwell. They'd come from all over the world.
it was amazing, wasn't it?
good.
What happened to that? That was incredible.
And how much that brought, by the way, to the community, like or to Aber, the town. Like I remember walking through town, and there's a team from Trinidad and Tobago walking around with their massive flag.
So good.
Just like, and literally like doing like marching bands and stuff. Like, and that was the ultimate. So as a kid, that, like, probably for you guys as well, like, that was the ultimate tournament. Like, that's all we cared about.
Yeah.
All we cared about.
Bleach the hair blonde.
Yeah.
All that sort of stuff.
or whatever the team
Luckily,
does.
I didn't need to do that, so I was all right.
Yeah, you're fine. Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like I took that for granted as a kid, because I think you look back and you think how amazing it was, and we all played in it, and it was a special thing. I suppose you just take things for granted if you've naturally got them, like at that time on your doorstep. Right?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
Ian Rush, Terry Yorth coming down at times.
Dwight
Me
York
and
was
you
there at
did
one point.
Centre of Excellence at that time as well. With,
Mike Smith.
with the football.
Yeah.
But you can't imagine it not being there, I guess. So you're just like,
know,
Ian
but-
Rush is here again.
Yeah, looking back, it's absolutely incredible. Can we talk a little bit about the football, rewind slightly, because you said you did coaching for Shrewsbury, I think it was. How did you did you play a lot of football and then go into the coaching side? How did that happen?
So like the way I got in, like, I played football, always played football. Like, my main passion, to be fair, like, as a kid, like, got to like North Wales regional squads. That was like the highest I could got to, which was I was like buzzing about, obviously, pretty decent. But yeah, nothing like major in terms of like any higher standard or anything. But it was the late great Bones that got me really, and Debbie from Penryn Coch, that like sort of got me into it really. Because I remember because I started when I was 16, literally, because you could do your FAW leaders at the time, was 16 years old, was the earliest you could do it. I remember Debbie and Bones just being like, you need to get onto it. Like, I don't know, I think they just, like, I was lucky that like Bones always used to make me like captain and stuff, which I was like always grateful for and stuff. And like, I think, just like little things like that.
Yeah.
And I just loved it so much. Like, I loved taking the warm-ups when I was like 14 years old and stuff like that, you know. Like,
Little laps.
Oh yeah, send them for a laugh, I'll do. But like, I don't know, like, yeah, I sort of like the sort of, not authority, but like the responsibility maybe, you know. But yeah, it was those guys that got me into it. And then literally, I remember I was coaching, so I started at Penryn Coch. I was 16 coaching the under-15s. So that was just hilarious, you know, like literally, they're all your pals, basically.
Yeah.
They're all the year below you. So, you know, God, like, you learn so much, like, when you first get into it. And just, that was how I got into it, really.
That must be quite hard, though, isn't it? Like, because you're mates with them, and then you've got to manage them.
Yeah.
You've got to have that line, haven't you? Because you can't almost, you have to get on with them, but then you've got to be assertive as well, haven't you?
Massively, like,
Call them out when they're not
exactly
pulling their weight.
And especially if it's like your best mate or something. Like,
yeah.
really awkward.
I suppose I was lucky, like, there's a half of them were like, I went to school with and I played football with a lot. And the other half were like I was Pen Gleis and they were Pen Webbing, so I didn't really like know them. And even though they were just the year below, you didn't really know them that well. So like,
Easier then, isn't it?
Much easier. Like, obviously there was my pals there though. But yeah, I don't know. You just learn a lot. Like, you learn as you go along. Do you know what I mean? Like, you know, and Bones, like, he was such a good like mentor. He would just tell me, like, he'd say, like, if anyone's messing around, just tell them. And like, obviously at that age, you're a little bit like, you sort of find things of what they're doing funny because they're 15 and you're 16.
doing it too.
So you're probably doing the same thing. Do you know what I mean? So it's like, yeah, you'd sort of like, you don't want to do it, but it's just like chucked in at the deep end, just go for it, like
Sink or swim.
boom, do it.
So what like qualifications or training did you have to do to take that further? Did you have to like go on courses and get things signed off and stuff?
Yeah, so like I've got my B license now, FAW B UEFA B license, sorry. But to get into coaching, like, I mean, it's slightly different now, but at the time it was just first aid and the leaders award, which you could do when you were 16. So I just did it as soon as I could, to be fair. But yeah, like, obviously further down the line, a lot of like professional clubs, they won't really take you on unless you've got a B license, which is, you know, the B license, there's the C license, which is in between. And there's a massive jump from C to B. I know a lot of people like struggle with it because there's a lot more like tactical information and stuff like that. And you're working with a lot of players, whereas like the FAW leaders and the C certificate, you're just sort of working with like how you coach and how you manage situations. Whereas like the B license is like, there's a lot of detail going into it. So I think that's why, you know, like professional clubs or like governing bodies will tend to just look at that sort of level sort of thing.
So it's CBA and then pro license?
Yeah, then pro, yeah.
Is that an aim of yours to get up to pro? Or?
Not now, to be honest. Well, they say really to do pro, you need to be working like senior football, 11v11 competitive football, you know.
Oh, okay.
So
only sort of thing.
Yeah, like, you know, obviously all like the Welsh Prem managers, they like their pro license.
They have to have pro license, don't they?
Pro, yeah. Or somebody at the club has to have pro.
Right.
You wouldn't fancy the England manager job then?
Well, maybe, you know, it might come around.
You
might
never
have to
know.
jump through the ladder a little bit quicker. Do you know what I mean? They're going to need it, they.
It'd be cool to see, though,
I
wouldn't
think
it?
it was going to happen though, wasn't it? I think he was going to finish if they won or they lost.
Yeah,
Do you think that? Yeah.
Oh, is he out? Is he?
gone.
Yeah, he
oh,
left.
I didn't realise that. I didn't know that.
Yeah, I think it was always going to happen, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Stressful job, that.
Oh,
One of the hardest, I reckon.
I think without a doubt.
Such highly like
Especially with pressure.
scrutinised.
The British nation, when England are on playing football, it's like, it's insane. I wouldn't be able to sleep.
They don't play to their capabilities because of the pressure,
It literally.
isn't
It
it?
doesn't look fun.
It doesn't.
It doesn't look fun. They're like, poor Harry Kane looks like he's having a terrible time, doesn't he? Like at the Euros. Do you know what I mean? Like,
He
Bellingham
aged
as
about
well.
10 years, I think, in that tournament.
somebody called him Gary Kane. I thought it was great. Just changed his name.
Gary Kane.
They've replaced him with Harry Kane with Gary Kane instead.
Barry.
Yeah, anyone.
So how many kids do you like look after now within BMO? Is there a number? I mean, you must have hundreds on there.
Yeah, weekly, it's funny you ask that. I was looking probably about a month ago just at like figures. We're probably hitting between 800 and 900 different children
Wow.
A week.
Insane.
a week,
Wow.
which is insane.
It is.
But that includes, bear in mind, we go into schools and we might see like every year group in a school.
Sure. So
But-
do you do that in school time? Or
So, well,
after school?
So we do. So we have like a program which is called Ysgol Ser, which is Star Schools, which is where we work with the school to provide basically like a higher quality PE, but also like support for teachers, because like the problem is in primary education is that when the teachers going through teacher training, there's not enough training on physical education. So, and this is another reason why I set up BMO as well, is like if you think about it, your children are in school and they're being taught and looked after by senior people, adults, and physical education, in my opinion, should be the highest priority, because like health is wealth at the end of the day. And if there's kids coming out of school that I'm not saying like they have to be like these super fit human beings, but the like hand-eye coordination and stuff like this, base levels of fitness, and the fact to go in and enjoy physical education is crazy. The fact that they don't get the training to be able to feel confident to do that. So we go into like some schools locally to do that, and like it's the most rewarding job most rewarding program for me is seeing, like, you know, it might be as simple as like a teacher's out with you looking at you deliver a lesson, and like you'll give them a lesson plan afterwards and you'll like go through it and show them what you're doing, and then you might see like on Twitter like maybe like the week after, and you can see them like trying out the games or like the little session or lesson that you've done.
That's brilliant.
And that's I just think it's massive, you know, like it baffles me as to why like our education program and our curriculum doesn't include more physical education, but like obviously at primary education it has to be fun. The problem is there's a lot of teachers that will be, you know, and I don't blame them because they don't know any better, but they'll be setting up like a cross country set, like we were joking before, like doing laps and stuff, but they'll like literally do that, and like what about,
it's not fun for a child, is it?
No, it might be all right. It's all right for that top tier that are like really want to strive to be like the best all the time, but what about the kids that hate running around and like think like, you know, nowadays if I turned up to that, I'd be like, oh my days, like I don't want to
Just
go
running?
just going to run around, or we're going to do like a load of line drills where we're just going to sprint. Like
Bleep test.
I
I remember that well in school.
Tough.
Yeah, luckily that's not too much in primary.
No.
So yeah,
where'd you see BMO in, like, I don't know, 5-10 years time?
I get asked this a lot. I'd love to see. I can't give too much away because there's no major crazy plans in motion, you know.
Sell up, buy the big yacht, send us sunset.
Yeah, we'll distribute out to like Dubai or something, or BMO abroad or something. No, I would love to see us have like a hub where we have like an actual centre for BMO coaching, where it would be where, you know, it might be something as simple as like a small pitch or like an indoor area with like some offices on the side. But like, I think where we are, like, again, going back to like the opportunities and stuff, is that there's not enough facility in the area. So if we could provide that as well, like we already provide quite a lot locally, but if we could actually provide a facility which would then free up, you know, say Abertown's pitch, the uni pitch, because that's predominantly the areas that we're using, like that can open up doors for other people, or it might open up doors for like more health and well-being sessions, which we would have at like our centre or something.
Sure, there's grants and stuff around for that.
So it's really tough for us because we're private, we get kicked in the arse a lot, to be honest with you, with grants, because there's loopholes you can go through, but then there's a lot that can fall back on you, and it can, like, you know, well, it can just ruin your business if you make one wrong turn in with like these loopholes. Like, it's just silly. There's no point risking it. But there is grants, but I don't know if you've seen recently, like a lot's happened with like local football clubs that have had like maintenance grants where they've had like their 3Gs like refitted and stuff like that, artificial pitches. Obviously Plascreek have had great new facility.
I was going to ask you about that. Are you able to utilise that?
Yeah, pitch? As of over the summer we're using it quite a lot now, which is great. Straight in.
It's really good.
Really good. And like
amazing.
Good size, you know. I've seen like a lot of people complaining about like the size of it, but like it's amazing. We didn't have that before.
No,
it was a dead space for like a few years.
You'll always find people moaning.
Oh yeah,
there's all the keyboard
Some
warriors will always kick.
I think it's like a bit of a hobby for some people to
It's
get
great.
online and whinge about it. Why is it not? I'm guessing it's not a full like size pitch. I don't even know. It looks great.
It's decent size. It's like no, sorry, not 3/4. It's like
2/3 or something. Isn't it?
Like it's like set. If you're talking, obviously I'm using football as a reference, like 7-a-side sort of.
Sort of
Nice.
size of that.
Perfect.
It looks really good though. Yeah.
Really good, you know, and like it's not 3G, it's 2G, so it's like Astro sand based, but it's perfect, you know, all weather. So if it's raining, it's got floodlights. That has
awesome.
opened up the door for so much more, like in our area.
Yeah,
Definitely.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that's great. Yeah, we'll definitely be using that. But yeah, going back to like the plan for BMO. Yeah, it's like, for me, it's like making sure we are covering everything in terms of what our area needs. So, and obviously, you know, health and well-being is a massive thing. And like I'll always talk about opportunity in our area is just, even now, like even with us doing stuff, and there's a few other businesses now in the area doing a lot, like there's still just not enough. And it's crazy. And for me, like the way I've run BMO is that obviously you play to your strengths. If you're talking business, like you do what you're good at, and if there's like a gap, you go for it. Do you know what I mean? And obviously there's planning that goes in, a lot of work goes in behind these things. But if we can like do something for the area that is needed, more to do with like mental health and just general like health and well-being, and like we do so much for kids, like more like teenagers, adults and stuff like that. Like if we can just do more like that, have more have full-time members of staff that can go and deliver this for us, that's like, for me, we don't need to be setting the world alight. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, as long as we're hitting the right levels locally, that's all that matters to me.
No, that's good, mate.
Because I live in the area.
I think every town should have something like that. Like, so important. With his schools, there needs to be this as well.
Yeah, yeah. I think
children need it.
I think it's just and if I take my hat off to the schools that have given us the opportunity to go and do it. Because at the end of the day, they're either paying us or parents are paying us.
Yeah.
Which is, they can get a lot of things for free as well. But what I always say to people is like, give us a chance, because if you're not happy with us, you can just tell us. I always say this to people, like, if you don't think our quality is good enough, like you can say no, thank you. Like, we'll use somebody else, or it's just not for us, or whatever.
Yeah.
But like, again, like, you've got to back yourself, haven't you?
Yeah,
when it comes to things like this, and in business, you've got to back yourself. So
got to take a punt, haven't you?
Have to take a punt, and I think, again, take my hat off to this. Luckily the last few months we've been really good with schools. More schools have jumped on with like the programs that we offer, whether it's just an after-school club or whatever.
Sure.
But more needs to happen, I think. Whether that's us or somebody else, like anyone and anywhere. More quality and not quantity as well. It has to be quality. Again, like what I was saying before with like the PE stuff, anyone can have a class of 30 and make them do laps or put on a massive game around us, but I guarantee you 10% will enjoy that and the rest won't.
Yeah.
That's the thing. There was a divide when we were in school. You'd always see the people sitting on the side just not enjoying it, or didn't want to do it, or always forget their kits, or it is always that classic, isn't it? Just, and you're right, it's make it inclusive, isn't it?
Yeah.
Make it enjoyable for everyone.
Yeah, yeah.
Makes sense.
Massively. And again, the other thing that like we're well aware of, and we're lucky that we've got a sponsor for, is that these things cost. So like outside of school, if you want to come to a BMO session, it does cost. However, if you like, we have a free school meals program, young carers, NHS, like workers, there's like free spaces available. And we've got a sponsor, which is LJV Construction.
Yeah.
And again, amazing, like he gives us the opportunity to give the opportunities. Yeah. And that's massive, because, if you're in a low income area, how are you supposed to, and like everything's gone up now. The cost of facilities gone up. Yeah. So we have to charge more. And it gets to a point where it's just too much. And how about those kids are not going to have that chance to come and do stuff?
Yeah.
So
that's good.
Yeah.
You're doing an awesome thing, mate.
Thank you.
Really good.
What's one sort of core thing you teach then? So like you got a group of 20 kids in front of you. Walk us through a little lesson.
A little lesson.
An easy one. Or
so we have like we got like different levels of like sessions. So so we do a lot of fun football. So that's like a lot of our community stuff's fun football. Cool. So I mean, the big word there is fun, but say it's an hour, it's always like, when they arrive, making sure that like they feel welcome. So like giving them high fives,
nice,
asking them how their day is, because some kid might have had a terrible day, and football or sport might be their only release. But if you see them having like a down day, you've got to make sure that they're all right. And you have a duty of care, even though they're with you for an hour. Mum, dad, or guardian might just drop them off. And then you've got them, so you've got to make sure they're there and enjoying it. So that's the main thing, is making sure they're like their feet are under the carpet, they're settled in. Something fun, like we give them like free time. So if we're talking football, literally just like ball each on the pitch, make sure they got a ball each, running around, shooting,
kicking everywhere.
Oh yeah, little safety as well. We'll make sure no coaches are getting involved. Just like making sure like we have like, lucky we have a decent amount of staff that'll tend to people. So if they see somebody like on their own, like, they'll go
straight over,
have a little chat with them, have some fun, give them a challenge, something like that. Then we normally start with like a fun tag game or something like that, just to get warmed up. And then usually again back to something where it's like a ball each. So we do like, I'll say this now, and a load of parents will know what a game is, but Pirates of the Caribbean, just an absolute BMO classic. So it would be like, they've all got a ball each. Then you ask them, like, Pirates, are you ready? They've got to go, "Arr, I'm ready." And then you say fire the cannons, and then they've got to dribble their ball to the other side, and then there's a few cannons on the side that pass their ball to try and hit their football. I just absolutely love it. It's like, it's just a classic game. And then it's like sort of like last player standing, so you can survive it.
Love that.
I love that each kid has got a ball as well, because I guess that's really inclusive, isn't it? In case you get a couple of kids that maybe aren't better than some other kids, maybe they don't get past the ball.
Massively.
So it's huge for all these kids to enjoy, isn't it?
Yeah,
It's massive.
huge.
Do you ever play headers and volleys?
So it is a classic game, isn't it? Headers and volleys.
We've had some
Best
belters.
game
It's
my
such a
most
game,
fun
isn't
days.
it?
Amazing.
It's one of the best.
Amazing.
So funny, we do. Yeah, we do.
Oh,
It's so good.
It's class.
It's so good. Like, you literally can't beat it, can you?
No, so good.
Amazing. I wonder who invented that.
So if you caught the ball, if you're in goal,
Straight at the person
who volleyed or
Yeah,
headed
you
shot,
saw
wasn't
it.
it?
they go straight in.
Oh, I remember that
I
game.
remember like 3 switches once. It was like, you're right. That wasn't in the box. That wasn't in the box.
It's been a while since I played that mine, but I'd like to play it again.
Did you do
soon.
it where, like, if you caught it, and then obviously you go out a goal, you can set somebody up?
Oh yeah. That was a
That
lovely
was the
thing.
best bit, wasn't
Yeah.
it?
Yeah.
Set 'em up.
Stitch them up.
Try and get
Yeah.
to 21 or something like that. Like,
Yeah, 21.
really
We were
good.
the same. What a game.
I'm going to do a really quick fire before going off the football, but Messi or Ronaldo?
Oh my goodness.
Wow.
Oh,
Yeah, do you know what? It's tough for me
okay.
because I shouldn't give you a long-winded story, but like I just fluctuate between the two, to be
Fair
honest
enough.
with you. But at the moment, I don't know. I quite like Ronaldo at the moment,
Even though Messi playing.
Oh, it's
Yeah,
incredible, isn't
Is
it?
there any reason why you're sort of leaning a little bit
just because
that way?
just like now, like, how old is he now?
Oh,
30,
mate,
38,
39?
maybe 39, something like that. I think.
Like he's
Looks
just
great.
he's just come out the Euros and being like, oh yeah, we've got to work towards the World Cup now. Like I'm ready to
His
play in the World
mentality is
Cup.
incredible,
Shut
isn't
up.
it?
I just like
He's
what?
not gonna be
unbelievable.
play-
Just
like,
like-
I understand he wants to play for it, right? But I reckon Portugal are crazy to put him in a 40.
Oh, yeah.
41. They're going to bring down the team, mate.
Player manager.
No, they'll put him in. They'll put
Player manager, yeah.
I'm telling you now, they'll put him in, and he'll even if he's a bench player. Oh no, saying that he won't want to be a bench.
He
player.
won't want to
can't
be.
He
handle
has
it.
to end on a high, doesn't he?
Yeah.
That's the
He'll be in a
thing.
Zimmer frame if they let him. Drag him off now.
Hey, you can come to our walking football session.
There we go.
There we go. We'll get
I'd
him.
get
in.
1 second off. Just he could have a whole second off to light it up.
It's a horrible question though, because they're two unbelievable players, aren't they?
Oh, they're amazing.
The comparison is just too hard.
Well, Messi's got magnet feet, hasn't he?
Yeah,
And Ronaldo's got that like free kick, like
Oh,
he's just got
the
that
skill of that long ball and
just that arrogance as well. That
Yeah.
just can win games.
self-assured
some
arrogance.
kid shouted that question at me about 3 weeks ago. I panicked. I shouted Cantona.
Cantona,
What a player.
shout.
Oh. Diabetes, Bren.
Yes.
So, type 1 or type 2?
Type 1.
What is the difference?
So, type 2 normally comes through diet. So, like high sugary diets.
Yeah.
More like obesity.
Okay.
Stuff like that.
Yeah.
Type 1 can be in your family. But now, well, funny enough, when I was diagnosed, at the time there's always obviously research going on. So I was diagnosed in 2001, so I was 7 at the time. And there's like, if you have like, it's basically like a shutdown of your immune system. You can basically, your pancreas shuts down and it won't recover. And that is basically a way of getting it, of being diagnosed with diabetes, is like you can just be so run down on your immune system, which is basically what happened to me. And like at the time, there's a lot of research because everyone just, well, back then, a lot of people thought it was just through like somebody in your family's got type 1 diabetes. That's that's the only way you can get it. Do you know what I mean? But there's a lot of research in now when it's literally just an attack on your immune system. It could be as simple as having a stomach virus, but you just have not recovered back from it.
What were the signs when you were 7 that your parents, I'm guessing, picked up on to send you into the doctors, and then how do they?
Mine were like quite the common ones to look out for. So going to the toilet like a lot and just drinking a lot. So like constantly, like I remember it now, just like dry mouth like all the time, just constant.
What the hell's the science behind that? Do you know what it is? As in why you get so thirsty and
So
why you have to?
it's basically when you have high blood sugars, which is what I had. So if you haven't got enough insulin in your body, you have high glucose levels, I should say.
Yeah.
And that's what basically causes it to basically make you really thirsty. And it's like your body needs to like flush it out as well. So like you're taking on a lot of like fluid and hydration, but you're just like, it just goes through you. It sounds mad, but like,
yeah, it's a vicious circle there, isn't it?
Yeah. So that was what would happen basically. So I'd just be like dry mouth, thirsty, toilet constant, and then just went in for like a finger prick test, and then came into bronchitis. It was then, even though we were living in Llanid Lois at the time. Yeah. So those are your common like signs to look out for, to be honest, with type 1. Because if you have got type 1 and you don't know about it, obviously your pancreas isn't working, so you're not producing insulin, so you're most likely going to have high glucose levels. So the insulin brings your glucose levels down. But obviously if you don't know, and you're not, like I have an injection to take insulin to keep me at a level, my glucose levels level. But if you don't know that, you're just going to be up there, aren't you? So I think my levels were 43, which is like dangerously high, obviously. Like your average is like between like 4.8 and I think it's like 7.8 now or 8 now.
Wow.
Is your average. So obviously that's like a crazy amount more.
So how does it affect, or how did it affect you as a child, and how does it still affect you now?
So as a kid, luckily I was so young when I was diagnosed.
Yeah.
But at the time, and this obviously it's not really a long time ago, at the time you had to like basically stick to a diet, inject insulin at a certain time of day, do the certain amount. So you were like on a plan that the hospital or the specialist gave you. And like obviously if there's so many different factors that can affect your obviously you're looking at your glucose level, that's what you want to be making sure it's good. Like obviously playing football, if you exercise, what people don't realize is you go up because of like adrenaline, it actually spikes you a little bit, and then you have like a mad crash like after you've finished, or like towards the end of like a football match, for example. So you're having to think about all that, and then obviously stick to a diet or like a plan. So you're just like constantly having to like adapt it, and like you might plan the day before that you're going to play a football match, but then it might get rained off or something. So like there's all these different things that you had to, well, you still have to consider obviously, but back then it was much harder. And it was all finger pricks, and like the needles were quite, well, they weren't massive, but they're way bigger than what they are now and stuff.
Right.
Yeah, I just remember, luckily when I was in the hospital, they taught me like straight away how to like inject myself. So like at 7, I was just like injecting myself like straight
You're doing it
away.
yourself at 7?
Yeah.
Whereabouts do you have to inject yourself?
So like I normally do like tummy or like tops or sides of my legs. You can do like arms. You can do your bum, which I was never really wanted to try that if you sat down or something. Or imagine a football, like those horrible mitre footballs on a frosty morning.
In the leg, they're bad as well.
Yeah, exactly.
The ear.
Yeah.
In the ear, in the leg.
But imagine that on like a bruised arse, basically.
No thanks. No way.
They were bad enough without any form of... I'm guessing you could sort of monitor it then some way when you got older, I'm guessing. Can you, is in monitoring your glucose levels?
Yeah, so obviously, so when I was a kid, it was like finger pricks all the time. Well, like every 2 hours is what you used to have to do.
Yeah.
But now they have like sensors. So I've got something in my arm now which talks to my phone.
Yeah.
Is it that little white
white
patch
thing?
type
Yeah,
thing?
so you probably
Oh,
see
I've
it.
seen
It's,
those on
it's
people.
mad.
See loads of them,
So
yeah.
it's like, I find it hilarious just because when I was a kid, I did not want to be associated with diabetes. I just wanted to be like the footballer. I wanted to be the footballer kid, and like that was it. And like obviously when I got older, like going out and stuff, I did not want to be associated with diabetes. Like, we know, like if you're like, you know, a bit cringy, but like you're out like trying to pull a girl or something, like you didn't want to tell them that you had
I have
diabetes.
type 1 diabetes.
Yeah, like it's not really the classic like
Hi,
line
my name's
to-
Bryn.
Yeah.
I got diabetes.
Yeah. So like that was like a thing that you wanted to hide, but now it's I find it so funny that you see, everywhere you see everyone, well not everyone, but you know you see a lot of
See loads of people.
Loads
On
of people
holiday,
with
I've
them.
seen it. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought they were nicotine patches. I did.
I think some of them maybe.
Honestly,
Maybe, yeah.
so I've had some hilarious ones. Somebody thought I was wearing a clothes tag. They're like, mate, you still got your security tag on. He actually tried to pull it. He's on a night
What,
out.
on the skin?
He tried to pull it off.
Mate, don't pull that.
Yeah, please don't pull that. Do you know what I mean?
Mate, you just robbed that shirt from Next, and you just got that on
Skin
there.
shirt.
Yeah.
Not that. Yeah, you know what? I only knew what they were recently, but I have seen a ton of people like wearing them. But isn't that weird how you almost felt like embarrassed of it? What, like it's crazy, isn't it? Like you shouldn't be embarrassed of something.
it had a
that's
little
just some
stigma.
like
Yeah.
I don't know, something in your body that it wasn't producing insulin.
Well, yeah. Well, it's just it's
not
a choice.
It's a game. Yeah, it's not a choice. But like it's the technology though is come on like leaps and bounds from when I was a kid. It's crazy. Like the fact that, and like it's actually great that like you know like you guys even notice it and stuff. Is that the more people like actually, because it's an invisible illness, diabetes.
Yeah.
Like the more people actually see it, the more people will actually get to like
Exactly.
know it. Do you know what I mean? Because somebody's going to go, like the guy that tried to pull it off my arm. And I was like, it's not a security tag, mate. I need it on my arm. Like it's for type 1 diabetes.
Leave it alone.
I'll give him a massive lecture later on. But yeah, it's good that like people can actually like see something now. And like you may have seen there's some slightly bigger things like you can have insulin pumps on you now. And they talk. So like obviously, so the sensor in my arm speaks to my phone. It'll show me what my levels are. So I don't have to prick my finger anymore.
Yep.
So as again, like going back to like sport, any sport, like whether I'm cycling or before you'd have to stop if you're cycling or playing football. Like I'd have to wait till half time to know what my blood glucose levels were at.
Yeah.
No, it's constant.
Whereas now I can like somebody on the sideline could be like, yeah, you're right, mate. Like you're good.
Yeah.
Crack
Or you're
on.
a bit low or something.
Yeah.
What happens then? Do you
Yeah.
have to like? I've seen it sometimes. Sometimes does it help if you eat sugar or if you don't? How does that work?
So when you're having a low spell, like a hypo, they're called.
Yeah.
You need to take sugar on.
Yeah.
So I've always got like, do you remember dextrose tablets?
I do.
Yes.
So I've always
yes.
got
Had it for
them in-
sports day because my dad bought them sometimes.
Was it
Chalky.
very chalky?
The
very
Lucozade looking.
Yeah, Lucozade tabs basically.
Apparently they're
Tablet,
supposed to go in water, aren't they?
Somebody told me this the other day.
You know, we were chewing them once kids. They're supposed to go in water like Barocca.
It's
Like
in it.
chewing the whole pack.
It's crazy.
They were lovely.
I haven't got time. I haven't got time to do that.
Lick them on the school button.
Really nice tab.
So you got those in your pocket,
Literally
basically.
got those or like
Yeah.
Haribos or something. So if I'm having a hypo, that's what I take. And then if I'm playing sport, it's like same. I'll just have some Haribos or some Lucozade, like on the side of the pitch. Then
So if you're high, trying to get my head around this. If you're high, you need insulin.
yeah,
If you're low, you
Yeah.
need glucose, i.e., sweets, something like that.
yeah, that's
Okay.
it. And then like carbohydrates as well. You need to, because if I just say I was playing football and I just had sugar like Lucozade or whatever, I'm gonna like go really high because it's like they're like almost like empty carbs in a way.
Okay.
So you need like there's obviously about like different types of carbs. There's
Complex.
Yeah. So like long lasting carbs. So it might be a case of like taking on some Lucozade and then having like a brunch bar or something because it's got like oats in and like raisins and stuff like that. So that'll like level you out. So you'll have that little up and then it'll like sort of plateau off then. So that's what you need to make sure you do, obviously. So sometimes it's a bit bit of a balance.
I bet it is.
You should like.
So that's quite hard to manage.
It does. But then I guess I bet you get it into like a fine art eventually. As in, you've been dealing with it since you were 7 years old, I suppose.
Yeah,
so you just know your own body, don't you?
You get to, you know your own body. And the other thing is that I think what people don't realize is like everybody's different as well with it. There's different types of insulin because everyone's different. They react differently to different insulins. So like my circumstances might be completely different to like your circumstances. If you were type 1 diabetic, like there's the sort of core values of what you need to do are there, like taking the sugar for lows and stuff. But you might be like more sensitive to things than like I am. So yeah, everybody's different. Like I have different experiences with things. Somebody told me like on a night out. So I got told by my specialist, they were like, on a night out, never do insulin, because you'll have a really bad hypo later on, like if you've been having a few beers or something. But for me personally, my glucose levels go so high when I like drink beer or whatever, that I need to make sure that I have taken a little bit of insulin on. But then I was speaking to somebody the other day and they were like, literally don't touch insulin. I don't touch insulin. I'll have chips after a night out, don't touch it. My levels are just perfect.
Wow.
I was like, that's lucky for you, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, isn't it?
Yeah, so like, these are things you have to, those are things you just got to consider. And somebody's told me, well, it's a stat that a type 1 diabetic has to make, I think it's 186 more decisions, life-changing decisions a day than your average person. Like I was saying before.
Love that stat.
Isn't that mad?
Crazy.
I might be off by I might have been 180. Yeah, can't remember exactly. Around that figure.
Wow.
But that, it's like before coming here, for example, I had like a late lunch. So, but I knew because it was the evening, I thought, I've got to have something before I come out here. But because I'd already had like quite a carby lunch before, I had like a low carb tea because I knew that the carbs were still going to be kicking in like later on. Yeah. And then I took like less insulin. But then like when you text like, do you want a beer? I was like, if I'm having a beer, better take some insulin. So it's like, so like all these things.
It is,
like
it?
if I missed like like that injection later on, like if you don't want to be riding high glucose levels because that's the most damaging basically. Okay. So the more higher you go, the more damage you do to your body essentially. So it's like those are the things you've always got to like consider.
Yeah.
So that was quite a cool stat I thought when.
That's an unbelievable stat.
Love that stat.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy stat.
I want to hit some music. So your family background, you said is hippie-ish, like festivals, all that sort of stuff. Is that where it began? Like your love for DJing, music, all that sort of thing?
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah.
So my dad, he's a producer, and he runs festival. But like my whole like when we were kids, we used to like go to Glastonbury. We used to go to like all like Green Man Festival, like all the sort of like original like proper festivals.
Yeah.
But we used to like go in like an old bus that was like converted.
Sick.
Unbelievable. Awesome. Yeah, I haven't got any photos of it actually. I need to get a photo of it. But it was like as a kid, I just remember like roaming free at festivals, like face painting, like just mud baths everywhere, like Glastonbury horrible toilets. Like, yeah. But I went there for years and years and years. And yeah, like my dad was in a band before you did like so it's electronic music obviously with the stuff that he does, but he's obviously always been like musical. But then like my stepdad, who you guys know, Jim, from Summit, like so he always used to like DJ back in the day. Like,
I didn't know Jim used to be a DJ.
I probably slept through there when he's gonna be like, why are you telling everyone?
What kind of music was Jim spinning?
Cunrig told me that Jim's a bit of a dark horse.
Yeah.
He's a selector, let me tell you.
With an A. Yeah.
Mo selector.
What sort of music was he playing? He likes techno now. I know because I had a chat to him recently.
Yeah, I believe it was still techno.
Cool.
Like back then, yeah. So
like
yeah.
Gabba.
Not quite Gavin.
German techno.
Yeah, but techno then for me was like, say that was like 140 BPM, 145 BPM, but techno now is probably like 128. It's a lot slower. The techno I remember was a lot quicker.
It's very the genres are
merging, I think, and they're quite complex.
So like this is like not trying to be like patronizing to like the next generation coming through, but like their techno is not the same as the techno that was the techno back, like what the original techno.
It was like,
what I mean,
Carl Cox was just thumping out this stuff. You're like, oh my god! But now it's loads slower.
It's very different. You know? But yeah, that was so. Yeah, so my background with it was just festivals, and then the reason I got onto it was, well, DJing specifically was, I just loved it. I honestly, like for me, like you've got to do the things that make you happy. Like life is way too short, and like people like always say to me like, oh, you got to be like careful of like your balance of like what you do. But the things that I love doing is like sport or like coaching, teaching, like making a difference, and music. And like I just like music brings me joy. So like it does. Everyone loves music pretty much. Like 99% of the population have some music that it might not be, you know, that gives them joy, but they might turn to it to find peace or something. And the power of music is quite astonishing, really.
Oh, it changes your mood
massively. You can be having a terrible day, and for me, I might put a mix on or something, like a housey mix or something, and you've had a tough day, and you've got a long, maybe I've been to like some football tournament or something,
a long drive back, and you've put on a mix, and like all of a sudden you could be buzzing again, like and you can just switch off from the world. Yeah, man.
And when I play, like I just think about the stuff that I play. I always think about the stuff that I would be obviously dancing to, but obviously you want to create something for people that are listening as well. So I just always want it to be like feel good stuff.
Nice.
That feeling of DJing in front of a crowd, like I've never topped it personally.
I want to know more about you.
Well, this isn't about me. You're sitting in the hot seat.
But are you going to do a back-to-back in a second?
I'd love to. I'd absolutely love to. Wake the kids up, it doesn't matter. No, but I was talking to Jim in Summit because I bought a bike recently, and like I'd like to say the service I had off him was unbelievable. But like those days back in like the late 90s, early 2000s were absolutely amazing. Yeah. Like we lived through like the golden era, I feel.
Definitely.
Because it was there was nightclubs everywhere. Yeah. World-renowned DJs were all over the country every single weekend. We were completely spoiled.
Yeah.
And it was... It's just giving me goosebumps thinking about how good those days were. Like, I'm not looking back with rose-tinted glasses. They were good days.
They were elite.
Great, great days. Yeah. It's changed so much now.
It's massively different.
Yeah.
It's become incredibly hard for the music industry as well. So, like, obviously won't go into figures, but like, for example, like my dad's festival, the costs of just to put it on, you would have seen yourselves, the amount of festivals that have been cancelled like this year, and clubs, massive London clubs that you'd think would just be like churning over profits. They're all closing down.
People aren't going out in the same way, I don't think.
No.
I know there's other factors as well.
Yeah.
Why though? What is it?
Honestly, it's the classic thing of like, since COVID, things have changed a lot. At the start, when we first were coming back from COVID, like everyone was going to like all the festivals and all the, because everyone, we missed it all, didn't we?
Yeah, for 2 years, well, minimum, maybe 3 years of missing it.
And and that was, and obviously the whole thing again, going back to like the grants and stuff, like the music industry was absolutely shot. They like... They got nothing. They got no support, really.
I think that was across the board for all the arts.
Arts and music. Wasn't there that ridiculous poster about? Wasn't it like?
About ballet.
Like, don't be a ballet. Like,
don't do ballet. Be a nurse or something.
Be a nurse. Or like do maths.
Kill your inspiration.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I do remember that actually. I had a load of backlash, and rightly so, because obviously for some people, art's incredible and it helps a lot of people, and it might be someone's passion. And
Yeah.
of course, it's a profession.
Yeah.
Of course it is. It's-
We need the arts.
it'd be quite
so
a
important.
sad world if we didn't have any form of art in terms of like music, artistry, dance. Goes on.
But what's crazy is what people don't realize it's just absolutely everywhere. Like,
Yeah.
even like buildings and things that are like sculptures.
Invention.
Like, it's just like it's everywhere. So why would you want to suffocate that?
It
Like,
is crazy.
it's the thing that gives most. Again, going back to the feelings and everything of music, art, music, anything like that is what people like inspire. They get inspired by it, don't they?
Of course
Basically,
they do. Film and TV.
film and TV.
I mean, yeah, it just goes
It's
on and
just-
on and on.
on
doesn't it,
and
you
on
know?
and on and on.
I think it's control. I think
Get the
that- I
tinfoil
think-
hat on, Med.
Yeah.
Get it on.
I think that every government wants to just have a dull nation of zombies. That's what I think.
It's very.
That they can just do whatever they want with.
Get rid of the cash.
So
We want cash. Cash is king.
Cash is king, boy.
Cash is king. Keep it going.
where you DJ next then? What's
We've got one locally
oh yeah.
in Bank Vaults on August the 10th.
Cool.
Is that a Friday or a Saturday?
That's a Saturday, I believe. Hang on. I think it is.
You'll see Med in the front row now.
steaming.
Well,
So what sort of music are you playing then, Bryn?
So we're doing, we're going to do, it's going to be a record fair. So we're doing like, it's starting at 12 and it's obviously Bank Vaults is a small place. You boys all been there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love
Not
it. It's the
since the
one that
mezzanine.
had the mezzanine
That's it.
relatively recently.
I haven't seen the mezzanine yet. It looks pretty good
It's great.
on photos.
It's
right?
really good.
You've got to get to the front of the mezzanine, though, otherwise you can't see anything.
Oh really?
Yes, because
Yeah.
me and you went there before.
We were right at the
and
back,
watched
weren't we? Couldn't see anything.
A lady
Oh.
singer, and yeah, you do have to be at the front. But a lovely,
great,
cool little venue.
Cool, yeah.
Yes.
And like, in terms of like acoustics and stuff for like music, obviously it's a music venue.
Yeah.
It's just quality. Like so every time we've run a party there for our event, Amina, is free because like it's such a small place, and like the thing for me with like the music, so we do like housey. When we do go there, it's like funky, disco-y house. It's like very accessible to like anyone. So if you're not what we do with that event there is that we try and do that. So like if somebody's walking down the street, like down Pier Street, and they can hear some like disco-y tunes, like
Yes.
everybody, like most people enjoy that. Like if they're having a little drink with some disco-y tunes, funky tunes in the background, it's just a nice,
Draws
it's a nice
people in, isn't it?
atmosphere, isn't it?
Beautiful.
Yeah.
So that's August 10th. We're good. It's that sort of vibe. But during the day, we're gonna do like a mini record fair. Obviously, it's a small place, so we can probably only have like 2 rows of records. But it's just something different. And like I think the thing for me with like Amina, the event that we do is like it's all about community. So like we got asked like to do a couple of gigs in like some of the local clubs here, and like it's just not it. I'm not saying we're better than that, but that's just not what our ethos is about, because they're telling us what to play,
Oh right.
and that just goes against everything. Like what I said, why I play, why like I don't want to go to an event where I have to play some music that I don't enjoy, because I'll just be stood there like a
Soulless.
robot. Yeah, soul. That's the right word. Soulless.
He's doing a job then, aren't you?
Yeah, you're doing a job, and
Yeah.
for me,
Sell
it's a
out.
hobby. It's a hobby, you know.
Yeah.
A sellout.
It's 400 quid, so.
yeah. Might see you there next week.
I just pressed play. Did that a bit.
Is it just yourself at these gigs?
So the Amina one, which is the one we do here, I do with my mate Mike. So he's an old school pal. So he DJs as well.
Cool.
But yeah, so we set that up because our inspiration comes from, like, we're sort of like into more like undergroundy, like deep house, like more like deeper techno stuff, rather than like your big club techno.
Anthem-y stuff.
Yeah. Not that's like, don't get me wrong, like everyone each their own, but that's just not like what we took inspiration from. But like my dad's festival, like for us, like the quality that's there, and like literally everyone that plays is just like we just constantly like looking up to them, and like everything they do just like blows us away. So we were like, again, it's like the comparisons to BMO and Amina. It's like there was nothing at the time, so we set that up in 2018 as well. So that was also my light bulb moment. I was like,
wow,
that trip to Canada did some bits for me.
It's good, like, yeah.
But, go back to that though. I'll tell you what, one thing, if you're ever struggling for inspiration, I'm not saying
go to
go and spend loads of money going to Canada, but like you need to be in like a space where you like, again, an inspirational space where you feel like you can be creative. And like, I honestly took so much inspiration from that trip, not because of like the sort of, not what was involved in it, but it was like literally just like the scenery and stuff like that, and seeing different cultures and stuff.
Traveling is what it is, mate.
Traveling,
it just opens up
the world.
It does.
Your mind and
get away from
your norm.
Get away from the norm, and go and try and get some inspiration from somewhere. But obviously that it did a lot for me. So we set it up, but it was because there was nothing like deep housey. You know, like there's a lot of drum and bass here, which is
there
great.
is some big drum and bass things.
It's always been big drum and bass. Yeah.
I like.
Always been big.
To be fair, like we're going to do some bits with the Resonate crew. I don't know if you've seen.
Is that
September.
Traditionally a drum and bass night
Seen the
or not?
He's putting techno on Owen, isn't he, this year?
Yeah, so
there's the next one.
We're dance music in general.
Yeah. Well, it's just mainly drum and bass. They could shoot me down here, like in the comments or something later on. But yeah, it was mainly drum and bass from what I gather from when they set up. But those boys are doing really, really well. Like they've built up their own community in a short space of time.
Yeah.
But yeah, like they've asked us to do like a more of a like housey disco stage or take over for a little bit.
That's cool.
You got two markets here, though, haven't you?
Yeah.
You're bringing them both in.
Yeah.
Because what happened to Black House?
Is that still going?
Is that still going?
No.
This is like the hangover of Black House, but it's the hangover's starting to get barocca, and it's taking form.
It's taking a new life.
I think the owner or the creator of Black House, Kirk, left ABBA.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Yes.
And it just died.
Yeah.
But that was a big event.
That was mega. Really good.
Well, there's a market.
I worked on that a lot.
Full respect to people who put on.
Yeah, I work at the Arts Centre.
Oh, nice.
And good God. Was it like 1,800 people in the Arts Centre in every orifice of it?
How many?
1,800.
I think there's one in it. Was
insane.
I think it was his last one. Was it 2012 or something? It was around then. Oh no, that would have been his last one. That would have been his first one.
2015 or 16 was around about the last one I worked on, I think.
Yeah, it must have been
That was a while ago.
First one was 2012 maybe. Like the big one that he did. Yeah, that was incredible.
Yeah, there's always been something at the Arts Centre to do with drum and bass, and remember Time Flies as well up in the Union.
Yeah, we're reminiscing about that relatively recently.
Yeah,
might be
good
when
nights.
you were a bit young. Oh man.
Once a month, Time Flies from Cardiff would come up and do an event up here, and they wouldn't even put any big DJs up here. They'd have like residents, Big Al from Swansea would come up, Mark Vito, people like that.
Love that.
Jodie Wisternoff came up once. I don't know if you heard of Jodie Wisternoff. Anyway, but it just rammed in there. Absolutely rammed.
Huge, like all the locals get up there as well.
It was the right time though, wasn't it? It was like a trance night in like 2001 or something.
But they'd have drum and bass in the second room.
Yeah,
nice.
Yeah, so it was bouncing in both rooms basically.
To be fair, the boys have done that with Resonate, and like they're going that way as well. So
cool. We're
happy to like support that, you know. And again, it's great that they want to, you know, have the different sort of genres going on and stuff like that. So, but yeah, like that's why we did it though, is because there was nothing that was like that here. It was literally just there's a lot of drum and bass events in the Angel. But,
in that back room.
Back room. But then like we did some aminos in there, and like obviously stuck to deep house basically, and they were unbelievable. We had like really, really good numbers there. I really enjoyed it.
Cool.
And it was just nice to build that up and like, you know, like stick to your morals of like why you do something.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And I think that's so important as well. Like,
yeah.
So yeah, it's nice. It's been nice. But yeah, we've sort of quietened down a little bit on the Amina, just to do more of the free ones, because the ones we did in the Angel we had to charge, obviously.
Sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just more bank vaults is the spot for us. We love it.
What's been your favourite gig so far then?
With Amina,
Any gig.
I just played at free rotation, which is, again, like for me, it's just like the ultimate free rotation festival, which is just like, yeah, all the DJs, producers, artists who I look up to are all there. So like being on the sort of bill alongside them was just unbelievable.
Is that your dad's?
Yeah,
festival?
sorry, that's my dad's. Yeah.
Okay, and where is that festival?
Do you know Baskerville Hall? Heard of that?
I have.
Remember the story,
Hound of?
Hound of the Baskervilles?
Whereabouts is that?
Near Hay-on-Wye.
Hay-on-Wye, right, got you.
Right.
Yeah. I've been to Hay-on-Wye, I don't know, book festival or something.
Yeah.
I've been to a festival in Hay-on-Wye, certainly not that one, but I know where it is.
It's quite a cool spot, Hay. Like, there's a lot.
It is.
goes on there.
It's quite like, yeah, hippie-ish, but not in a good way.
Yeah. Like the book,
it's good.
the book fest. It's like, has it got the most bookshops
Hay
in the
Festival.
whole world?
Yeah.
Is that what it's called? The Hay
Yeah,
Festival?
Hay.
I went there with my dad and my mum ages ago. Yeah.
It's come to the Arts Centre a couple of times.
Is it?
Yeah.
Did not know that.
Engaged with different Ceredigion schools, I think.
Oh, decent. Yeah, no, it's a spot there.
See though, used to love going into the house rooms in like the clubs. I guess that's what kids are missing these days. Maybe it's like a big club, and then you have the options of like going into like a nice chill out room, going into like a deep house room or like a funky house room, and then
Why
the
were you in the
trance
chill out
and
room?
stuff like that.
There's 3 different
I don't
rooms
know.
there.
I might, we could elaborate on why we might be in the chill out room.
Chill out room.
Just wanted to break. Give the ear the
Some
rest.
sights in there.
Too many Smirnoff Ice. Too many Smirnoff Ice.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
good
don't know,
days, though.
You are right though. Like, and again, this is where I'm struggling locally with us, is that we've got 2 clubs.
I guess
Or
so.
3.
One way of looking at it. Yeah.
3 if you count the Angel alongside. Is it Yoko's now or?
Yeah.
I don't know what it's called.
I can't keep it, but yeah, I know what you mean.
But
Yeah.
like obviously the thing is that most of the time they're all playing the same thing,
commercial
Commercial.
style clubs,
which
Yeah.
is great for the students, and that's how they make their money, obviously. And I totally get that as a
Money.
business.
Yeah, of course.
But it's, and again, this is why Owen and Mark do resonate and stuff. Is like, you have to do some quite big things, and you have to do a lot of planning to make something happen where it's going to be sort of not worthwhile, but you feel like you're sort of making a difference locally as well. Do you know, like for the scene.
Yeah.
So yeah, it is tough. Like, I think there's not, I don't know if we're quite niche, but there's not a lot of, I don't find like teenagers now that they don't really like deep house.
No.
I don't really know what young teenagers sort of are into at the moment.
From what I can
don't know.
see, it's like JD Sports music.
What is JD Sports music, man?
Oh god, like
R&B?
Stormzy.
Stormzy,
Yeah,
and,
like
like
stuff.
grime.
rap that
Grime,
doesn't
I
make any
see.
sense.
Yeah, like
For
the
me.
mumble rappers and the grime.
Yeah.
And all that stuff. It's like,
You sound like a big fan.
Don't think I've heard that one.
just walk into JD Sports, have a 5 minutes in there, and you'll know exactly what I mean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pumped up in JD Sports.
God. Yeah. Because they walk through the Arts Centre and they're all listening on their phones to stuff, and they're like, it's like,
I think we're getting old, you know, as well. Because
it's not.
I reckon my parents probably listened to like Henners and Cold and probably thought, what on earth have
Oh,
they
it's like
listened
banging hard
What on
tracks.
earth have they listened to in there? So maybe it just naturally happens.
Yeah.
You know.
Produced any music yourself, or
I'm doing like bits, but nothing's out there. I've got like all the software and stuff for it.
what is it?
Ableton.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've heard of that.
I've done. Yeah.
Have you?
Yeah.
Have you got any tracks out?
Well, about before I had kids, basically.
No way.
I was on a bit of a roll, and then kids came along and it just went dunk,
Kill the dream.
killed it. Yeah, not blaming my kids for my dreams, but you know.
Yeah, but they'll get old enough.
No, I know.
You can,
no, it just takes so much time. It took me 2 years to learn the software,
Yeah.
pretty
Oh
much.
my gosh.
It's tough, isn't it?
But once you know it, it's
Yeah.
really easy.
Once you've got the hang of it,
Yeah.
you're on it. My problem is I got the hang of it during lockdown.
Perfect
So
time.
perfect time, dreamy.
Yeah.
But then when I was going back to work, I was like, that's all I can concentrate on now. So like now,
Takes over your brain.
I would rather, for me, like I would rather like practice a set that I've got for a gig or something, or maybe like listen to a few tunes and like have a mix or whatever, than put my time into producing. Don't get me wrong, I'd like obviously love to do it, but I just haven't got the time.
I found though is like you could spend either, I don't know, 3 months on one track or a weekend on one track, whatever it is. But it could be like, say a few DJs play it 1 week, but then it's like old the week after. There's so much stuff coming through.
Yeah.
And like the good old days with a vinyl, you'd hear like Judge Jules, for example, playing a track for probably 2 months.
Yeah.
That does not happen anymore.
No.
Stuff moves so fast. White label for a while, get some.
Yeah.
No, exactly.
Yeah.
Get some oomph behind it, and getting old.
No, well,
it's so different.
It's in one way it's like easier, isn't it?
To produce,
to get it out there.
Oh, yeah.
Because
social media wise, it's like easier.
Social media, like Bandcamp, like you can just upload an unmastered track.
Oh.
So it's like you can charge people for that, and like people pay for your track, or like you can put it out there for free, whatever you want to do.
Wow. Yeah.
So it's like you can just do that.
There's so much bad stuff as well. There's obviously some incredible stuff coming out.
This is it as well.
Yeah.
It's harder to find music now, I find. That's why I like going to like an event or like a festival, and I'm like I sort of like listen to like the sort of vibe they've got, and then sometimes I'm a bit cheeky and like ask what label like that record was or whatever, and then
got to ask.
You got to ask.
Got to ask.
You're doing whatever tune, whatever artist is being played. You're doing them a disservice if you don't ask.
Yeah. Absolutely.
They can't always Shazam a song, can you?
Shazam.
You know what I mean? You can't always do it.
I've still got a Time Flies old ticket with, I remember the name, which Judge Jules wrote, Eve 18, The Noise, because it was like, what the hell is that song? I was like, tell me what that song is.
No way.
I've still got it on my wall in my bedroom.
No way.
It's nuts, yeah. Pretty sad.
But
I love it. But you've got to ask, because then I went and bought that record.
Yeah.
It's the whole point.
And you're supporting that artist as well. So it's definitely not a bad thing.
I actually went to a gig about 3 weeks ago. Went to see Eric Prydz and Christoph and a few other people in Cardiff Castle.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my God, it's amazing.
Was it?
It's absolutely amazing.
Cardiff Castle's supposed to be mint for like a venue.
The acoustics is unreal because you're basically in the middle of the field within the castle.
Within the castle.
It's all the walls around
It's like a bowl then almost, isn't it?
much.
Yeah.
I know loads of people have gone to like a few. They've had quite a few gigs there, haven't they? As in, they do a lot of things.
Hell of a venue. Really
good
is.
people go there.
Yeah.
And it was like drizzly and rainy when we left here. We got there. It was like 22 degrees in Cardiff. It's a completely different climate. Burn the top of my head.
Down south that is.
Yeah. But no, it was just, it was good to be in the mix again, just sort of sit like dancing away and
experiencing it,
yeah. Oh.
So we missed our 40th, so we'll have to do it for our 50th. We'll have to find a
Let's
gig.
hope it's a little bit before then. We'll go a bit before
Why don't
then.
you do a late 40th?
Yeah, all
Late
right.
40th.
Mid 40s.
Go to Ibiza for the weekend. Never come back. Like the hangover.
Hangover.
Yeah. I'm running out of...
You know what? I've got a question I haven't asked. It's only a little one. I could have done it in the quick fires. But who do you support? If you're from Newcastle, do you support Newcastle?
Or Sunders.
Sunderland.
Sunderland.
So I'm a Geordie, but my dad... Well, my mum was a Sunderland fan as well, actually, but she's a Geordie as well. But yeah, Sunderland fans for my sins.
I love the documentary on Netflix.
I didn't. It was terrible.
It's heartbreaking.
It brought back so many bad memories.
Trauma.
Really? Well, I guess you lived it as a Sunderland fan.
That moment, when Chris Coleman, when he started on the fan, I was like, this is just like...
Brutal.
I remember all that, and I was like, this is just not what we need to go through again. But we're doing all right now, I think.
How are they doing now?
We had a bad end of the season last season. We ended up, I think it was like 15th or 16th in the Championship.
Okay.
But it took us ages to get out of League One, didn't it? Which was brutal. Very, very tough to take. But the main thing is we've got a really nice kit now, so that's all I care about.
What, the new
kit? Unbelievable kit. And I haven't bought a Sunderland kit in years because they've been
And you
crap.
bought one, yeah?
I bought one.
Amazing.
We're on the up.
What's the price of them now?
God, it was like 60 quid.
Did you get badged and named and all that?
No.
How much is a Premiership
100
kit
quid
now?
Prem one's like 100 quid.
Yeah.
For an adult.
way.
80, 100 quid if you want one.
Yeah, I bought my mum a De Bruyne kit top last year because she's a Man City fan for some reason. She flits. And it was 93 quid.
Whoa. No wonder people buy the fake kits, you know?
Yeah. Well, yeah.
93
I know
quid.
all the like parents that I see, they're like, I won't name the website, but they all get them from
Yeah,
that one
I think
website.
another one.
I've been told.
Takes a
about
couple of
this,
weeks, but it gets there.
Yeah.
Oh, it's from
That's
China,
it.
all right. It looks pretty good.
I mean, they're pretty solid replicas, aren't they?
Probably
yeah.
from
So
the same
that-
factory.
That website brought out this new Sunderland kit
I'm sure they did.
months before it even came out. It's exactly the
Love
same.
it.
I think they probably did it
Exactly
via
the
the
same.
pictures, or they got like a they get an early. They must have early kits and they do it on it. But
Honestly,
I don't know
it's
how
leaked
these
on
people
I
do
reckon
it.
they just think of them as soon as the season ends. It's like,
Yeah, but also
Just take the risk.
they're manufactured in China, I'm guessing, anyway. And
gotta be
then
something.
the fakes are from China. I mean, it can't be that hard.
It literally must be a
it
factory
might not even be
next door.
fake. It might just be like
Exactly.
not signed off by the EU or something. I don't know.
Oh, I don't know.
It's mad, isn't it?
It's all money.
You ready for some quick fires, Bren?
Go
Yeah,
on.
let's do it.
Oh, go on. Is this like one word answer?
Well, it's supposed to be, but we always debate.
We don't want that to happen.
Yeah.
Favourite film?
Oh, Inception.
What a beast!
Great film.
Straight in there.
That is a deep film.
It is a deep film. It's got many layers.
Layers.
Like an onion.
So, and I don't know how it really finishes. Do you like?
no.
leaves you on a
You know what? I
cliffhanger.
think I need to re-watch that film.
Love it.
The
You'll watch it
Hans
again.
Zimmer score in that.
What was
is,
the?
Unreal.
I've seen Hans Zimmer live, Bren.
Fantastic.
Have you?
Yeah, I went to Hammersmith Apollo.
Wow.
He was there with a full orchestra and a full choir. It was the most amazing gig
See,
concert I've ever been to in my
That's
life.
one thing I've never gone to. I'd love to go to something like that.
Unreal.
Keep your eye out. They do.
That is something I'd love to go to.
I think sometimes you can go to like if it's your vibe, you can get like Star Wars nights where they have the film on.
Yes.
and you can listen to
Or
the
like a Lord of the
orchestra
Rings one I've seen.
and
some,
doing the score.
Yeah.
They did
stuff
one
like
in the
that.
art centre, didn't they? Or did
They
we
did a
Jaws?
films
Oh, no.
one.
We
that
did a
went
film
to.
night.
We went
but-
to that. Well, me and you went to that. The film one.
And me.
Oh yeah, we all went to
I
it.
was there, yeah.
Of course, we all went to it.
I can't remember that.
Why are you struggling to remember this, Dave?
We sat in the
Two
great
kids.
hall. We sat in the great hall. There was me, you, Kat, Nicola.
It was all of us. With the,
Oh, yeah. Sorry. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it was like
Do you remember now?
Spielberg night,
That's it. Yeah, I felt like there wasn't enough of them on the stage.
and it
big
wasn't
enough.
loud enough.
It
and
wasn't
it-
loud
yeah.
enough. It
Ah,
wasn't
okay.
big
they
enough.
needed a full orchestra, didn't they?
Yeah.
Great idea, but it was a bit flat.
Great
Yeah.
film, by the way.
Okay.
Christopher Nolan, absolute genius. But I
Unreal.
remember being really confused in the cinema for about 5 minutes watching that, and all of a sudden it clicked, and it was just like, oh my god, this is amazing.
It's so good. Isn't
Yeah,
It? I do like Interstellar as well.
Yeah,
that's in my top 3.
I just love like things that just leave you absolutely like bewildered.
Stunned.
Like just
Yeah.
don't know what I make of that.
Like Shutter Island.
Yeah. Same with that. Again, that's probably one of my favourites as well.
Yeah. If you think about it, for any time after the movie, you know when you watch a movie and it's just like cookie cutter and you finish it and you never think of it again.
Yeah.
But it's those ones that you dwell on and you think on
I'm
a deep
thinking
level.
about it now, and it's really confusing me.
I tell you what's really confusing. The latest Nolan movie, so Tenet.
Oh, I was trying.
That
to
not seen that.
fried my brain. I was
Couldn't get
watching
into
it
it.
and I was like, I don't really understand what's going on here, and I got no problem saying it. I was like,
the
I am
two-
confused.
It's the two timelines, one forward, one backwards.
It's too much.
Is it worth seeing?
Yeah,
I
think
would
it's a
say
banger.
it's worth seeing. But I reckon you gotta. I think I've watched it once, and that's probably. I need to watch it again.
Yeah.
I reckon. Favorite cereal.
Ooh. Crunchy nut.
It's a good
The
choice.
crunchy nut cornflake.
Yeah.
I haven't had it in years, mind. Don't really eat cereal, but up there.
It's up
Yeah.
there.
Strong.
It's a good one.
What's everyone's? What's everyone else's?
Start. Remember that?
I like a cocoa.
It looks
pop.
like a
Raisin
like
wheats.
honeycomb on like Reebok. You remember that Reebok sign that would look like a little
The hexagon
the
thing.
honeycomb hexagon?
Stars.
Start.
Start.
Kellogg's Start.
You don't see much of that about anymore.
I don't think it exists anymore.
If anyone listening remembers Start,
Send it in.
Send us photos of you eating Start.
it's from
Back
the
in
20s.
1989.
I'm not that old, I promise. Quaker Oats.
Raisin wheats.
Ooh.
They are absolute belters.
Mate, I don't remember that.
So good.
Kellogg Start.
Just sugar,
What's-
basically.
They've probably been discontinued. I'll be honest.
Mate, they didn't make it
Rotting your teeth and
89. Yeah.
Blueberry wheats as well. They're decent.
Yeah, good. Yeah,
Crave.
solid.
Solid.
Talk about music a bit. What is like your favourite music then? Is that, you got a bit of a broad range, or what's your like go-to?
Yeah, like deep house, I would say. And I've said that a lot.
Yeah.
People probably don't even know what that is, but I can't even think of like.
Give me a
examples
track.
of-
Give me a track, and I'll
Yeah,
write
'cause-
it
yeah.
down, and I'll listen to it on the way home.
So,
Now.
so what track do you know? Say if you're like you're playing, and you put one song on, you know that's going to go down a treat.
That's a great way of doing it. So I played a tune, Josh Baker, Hideout, and I remember playing it to Jimmy, and he was like, "That's unbelievable. That's a tune.
That's the one.
That's a tune." And it's like, it's basically like stuff I like. It's quite like minimal. It's like some stuff will have like a bit of a vocal in now and again, but it's more like stuff that like builds up a little bit through a tune.
Nice.
But then obviously like that's why I like it, because when you mix it into something maybe that is a bit more vocally, that's like what I like
Differences.
doing. Yeah. So that's
nice.
Try that one. Yeah, that one's quite minimal, but it's got a vocal in as well.
All right. Yeah, I like it. That on the way home.
Love it. Yeah.
Happy?
That was awesome.
Happy?
Thanks very much for
Bryn.
coming on.
Thank you, boys.
Thanks,
Appreciate
Bren.
that.
Thank
Pinned
you.
him down.
fun.
We got him.
We got
Got him in.
See you in about 20 years.
Thanks, mate.
Thanks,
Thank
mate.
you, boys.
Cheers.
Awesome.